Hi guys, it's Didi here. Summer is over. We are back from our long holiday. We went to Europe driving, about 35 days trip, and I thought foolishly that I would have enough time to sit down, read lots of books. I took with me at least 10 books, and in the end I ended up with no time at all for reading books. So the only book that I've been listening to though every night before I go to bed or in the afternoons when everybody was sleeping in Italy, because that's what people do when it's 41 degrees, was to listen to the Vortex repeatedly. Vortex is the book that is based on the teachings of Abraham. I've already spoke about this book and I will link the video somewhere above. Mainly the part that I was most interested in again was on parenting. I am now interested in the law of attraction, in learning and studying how we are all energy and vibration, and everything we think of, the way we vibrate is what attracts the things in our life. Now, why am I so interested in parenting? Because since I had Mika, I've been a lot thinking about how can I be a more conscious parent, and being a conscious parent means different things for different people. For me, that would have been more about how I make sure I don't interfere with his own personal development. He's a different human being, he's not me, how I don't put my limitations on him. And then when you're a parent, as you know, there are lots of situations when you actually lose it. You think you're very conscious in the way you act and react, but you're not. And Vortex helped me a lot to reflect upon the things that I feel are important in my way of parenting. So I thought I'm going to make this video, boil down some of the lessons I've learned from Vortex, and hopefully they'll help you too in the way they're helping me. Now, I'm not perfect though. There are still times when I'm losing it completely, when I see that the way I react to a certain situation or to a certain behavior of Mika is not as I would have liked to react. And I know it, I feel it the moment I do it, and I still do it. But it is a learning curve for all of us as well. For those of you that do not know what are the teachings of Abraham, Abraham is a non-physical entry. We are all energy, we are all vibration, as I said, and the way we vibrate determines our life experience. The teachings of Abraham, of these non-physical entries, comes to us through a medium. So it sounds a bit crazy, but it's not when you start reading it. And because there is so much wisdom, there is nothing that I would read that I would not agree upon. Okay, so the lessons I've learned in relation to parenting. So the first one is always see the best in your child and expect the best for them. And this means that we should only look for evidence of their brilliance rather than focusing on their negative traits or behaviors. I know that we as parents, we very openly share good things about our children, but in the same way we focus on their drawbacks, as we call them. Quite often we discuss with our friends how difficult our child is, how stubborn they are, how they make tantrums, how they are hard to be convinced to do something which we want them to do. And we are focusing on the negative parts rather than on the positive aspects of their existence and their being. Even we, parents, discussing between each other, the mom and the dad, about something which we feel worried about or feel anxiety about in our children's behavior is something which, according to the Abraham Hicks, we should not do, because we have to always find a way to focus on their positive aspects, to see only their brilliance. And everything that is negative is taking us out of our vortex. It's putting us into a negative vibration and we are attracting more of it. So how do we do that? It is important when we see our children being very happy, being aligned with their own source, to amplify this by paying attention to it, by sharing with them, instead of sharing our attention with them when they feel bad, when they feel disconnected, which is what a lot of parents do. It's very much for me something related to the positive reinforcement. So you give attention when something good happens rather than when something bad happens. And you have to drop our expectations that we can ask them to change their behavior to please us. Only with our love and with our positive expectations towards how they will develop, we can bring them to alignment with their own source. Children are much, much closer to their own source because they were born being close to that. We were born as well, but in time, teachers, society, parents, they're taking us out of who we truly are. And then it takes us much more time to go back to the vortex, whereas for them it is really, really much easier. So make sure you amplify this moment, look for brilliance, everything negative you just disregard. The second one is you have to demonstrate the clarity through example, not with empty words. Often we think that we give them our lessons and we tell them how they should do things, but we have to be the example. And I've been saying that for everything, including for food. Lots of parents have been asking me for so long how you make sure your child eats healthy. It all starts with us. We cannot say one thing, do another thing, and expect our children to react that way. So if we want them to be in their vortex, to be happy, to know that they're creator of their reality, we have to be the example for them. We have to demonstrate often to them that we are aligned, which means we have to focus on our positive feelings, positive emotions. Positive feelings and emotions are the emotional guidance. We are equipped with GPS system that says, okay, you're in alignment, you feel good, you're not feeling good, you have a negative emotion, you're out of alignment. If we are often in alignment, we talk about that instead of complaining, moaning, saying how crap our day is, how many demands we have from other people on us. If we respond in a way coming from the fact that regardless what, we feel good, we are demonstrating to our children that we have access to our vortex, they have to theirs, they decide on how they want to feel, and they are equipped with a gift for life. So very important to work on us first, and then we will be the example for them. The third one is great, and I think it's one of the hardest for us parents, is do not try to control your child. I think that this extends, do not try to control any other human being, because first of all, it's impossible. No human being wants to be controlled. And all our attempts are taking us outside of our vortex and taking them outside of their vortex too. Children know very well what they want to do, what they like, what they dislike. They know how to get to the things that they want. And by us trying to control their behavior, their feelings often, you shouldn't feel that way, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. We are actually asking them to do things to please us and society rather than things that they feel are right for them. So drop the desire to control behavior. This is one of the hardest by far for me, because sometimes, we are out and society impose on us different sort of expectations, and I would expect my child to bound upon these expectations from society. And if he doesn't, I feel like I need him to do what I want him to do. And if he doesn't, I feel like, okay, this is a complete failure. And just recently we went to a school. We are going around to find school for Mika, and one of these schools, most of these schools, they want to see the child and how the child acts and reacts, and I am very much against it. I took my child there because I just wanted him to see what the school looks like, and he was very quiet. He didn't want to talk to anyone. People are talking to him and addressing him. He doesn't even say hello or good morning, which are things that you normally do. And internally, I feel really bad about that, saying, oh, he should act better. He should be a good example, and he's not. So drop this. Your child is not supposed to do things because you want them to do, because you want them to please you. In time, you're taking them outside of their own emotional guidance systems, and that's the last thing you would want for them. Next one is, don't do for your children the things that they can do for themselves. And now when I think about it, especially now when I learn more about the Montessori philosophy because of my nursery and because of the school that I go every Saturday, she was talking a lot about that. So Montessori in a way really supports the emotional well-being of the child. We don't want to create dependent children. Lots of parents do it one way or another. Sometimes we are not even aware we are doing it. But if a child can make something by themselves, we should not take this out of them. We have to teach them that they live their own life. It's not our life. We don't know better than them what is good for them. So every time when your child say, even when they grow up, I need you to tell me what to do, we can tell them, I know that you know how you feel better than I do. So how do you feel? Help them recognize their emotions, but always tell them and reinforce the message that you, my child, are the creator of your own reality. I am not. I'm here to facilitate and hopefully not to interfere, but you are the one who knows better for yourself what is good for you and what is not. And another one which I want to share is never force a child to do anything. And that actually goes down to everything. It's about food. Don't force them to eat the things you want them to eat. About learning, don't force them to do their homework. I know that this is really hard, and I actually don't know how I'm going to incorporate this in my own life, because after all, they're part of a system, and this system requires certain things from them. But if you're forcing knowledge, if you're forcing them to read, they don't want to read. If you're forcing them to write homeworks when they don't want to write homework, you are taking them in time out of their vortex. They start doing things because society and other people require these things from them, instead of being driven by their inner desire to experience contrast. One of the things Abraham talks about is that every child comes here with great desire to grow, expand, and experience contrast. They don't expect everyone to be the same. They don't expect us to be perfect. They don't expect that everyone will feel and think the way they do feel and think. They know that there is a contrast in the world and they enjoy this variety. So if a child wants to learn something or if a child wants to experience something, the minute they have this desire to do it, they would focus on that and do it. And us forcing them is not going to be helpful, although in the long term. So the whole essence of Abraham boiled down to the following. We have to learn to be aligned with our own source. We have to show them the fun part of us, the spontaneous part, show them that we know that we have our own emotional guidance system, and we know that sometimes we are out of the vortex, but we know that we can go back if we want to, and it's on us to decide whether we want to stay in or to stay out. We can teach our children that life is good. They know that life is good the minute they were born, but we impose on them our negative thoughts, our fears, our anxieties about life, and in time they start believing the messages that they get from us rather than believing what they were born with. So by recognizing our own GPS, emotional guidance system, and helping them recognize that they have their own, we are going to give them the greatest gift ever. So I hope you are really going to like these messages, guys, and I really look forward to your opinions as well. For those of you that have been studying the Abraham teachings for a long time, or for those of you that are new to the vortex and to the law of attraction, please let me know, leave me comments. How do you feel about these things? Even if you've never heard about the Abraham teachings, what do you think about the messages I've been giving you here? Don't control your child, don't force your child. Are these things that you relate to, or you feel that we have to have a different role as parents? So leave me a comment, ask me a question. I love reading your comments. I love the interaction we have with one each other. And if I can be of any help with anything, just drop me an email. So I'm looking forward to see you next week. Finally, I'm back after a long summer, and hopefully I'll see you next Tuesday.